Welcome to my channel of families past and present. Today I'm going to talk about saving money. And I've had the question posed many times as to, well, how do you save when you don't have anything? When all your money's been used? And one of the first things I mentioned to a friend of mine is, first you have to ask yourself, do you smoke? Do you drink? Do you do drugs? If you do, how much of this are you needing? How much are you really needing? Okay? Everybody's got problems. Everybody's got issues. We're not here on this earth to kind of dwell away and use things for, our mental health, because that just breeds it. Okay? So if you have, the first thing I always say, if you have any of these three things, um, then you need to cut off. You need to cut them back. Why? Because A, most of them are cancer causing. B, you might as well just burn your money. It's not doing you any good. In fact, it's putting you in harm's way. And C, it's not providing for your family. It's not giving you anything in the long run. Okay? So, having said that, you need a note. We're going to start with the simple stuff first. You're going to need a notebook, preferably, they call it, oh, shoot. I think back in when they were calling it the campfire notebook. Do you remember those guys? Everybody had one, and that's where your lessons were, I guess, in grades 1 and 2. Okay, so if you can get one of those, or a spiral book that has the spirals in it, you don't need a big one. You just need a smaller one, and they're usually about $1.50, because that's where you're going to put all of your expenses. So the first thing we're going to do, and this is why it's so important to help you with this, so you can actually have a good family home life without arguing about money and all the things that are going wrong, because everybody's got to be on the same page. Okay? You want a good family like years ago, then you got to go back to those ways. I'm sorry, there's no other way. We live in a world right now that it's gun and drug related and cartel related, and it's bad. It really is. I mean, most people can't get anything. The prices are ridiculous. So we're going to back it up to where we used to be good. We were, and we weren't jealous of what other people had, because nobody had anything. And that's pretty much where a lot of people are now. I mean, they may have had something at one time, but they don't anymore. So the first thing you're going to do is get yourself a campfire notebook. If you've been where you are now for quite a while, or you're moving into a new apartment, or whatever the case would be, um, today's a good day to start. We can start on, the first day of the week. Make sure you have a jar, or a box, a wallet, someplace where you can put your money that other people can't get at it. You want to save. So we're going to start saving. Okay? And when we do the saving, we're going to not let anybody else touch it. So if you're going to be saving more than $2, and you're going to be saving maybe 5, which is what I would like to see, or 10, you may consider a bank account of savings. Okay? Um, and this is the way that I had to learn the hard way too, but I'm going to share it with you. So get yourself a bank account, and usually if it's a bill, it will go to deposit. You don't even have to see the bank teller. You just deposit when you get a new bank account with your card. Okay, so let's do that first. So break it down into what you decide your rent is, the heating cost, heat and lights, your phone. If you have a phone, that's a luxury. If you have cable TV, that's a luxury. The smoking, the drinking pattern, and the drugs, they're not even luxuries. They're death notes. Okay? But whatever. People call them luxuries. I don't. That just puts you on the operating table with me. What else? If the food is a necessity, so that we need to know roughly what you have left. And are you spending anything on entertainment, like gas, to go somewhere other than work? And is there anywhere else your money's coming from, going out to, whatever? Because you may have government support somehow. You may have money coming in from an ex for your children, your job. Now, sitting home is not a job, okay? It really isn't. And if you have the internet, then you have a computer, usually, or your phone, that can hook to the internet. You don't have to be not working, okay? Some people want everybody to give to them. Other people want to be known as contributing to the family, to bring up the family in a way that says, I am trying to care for you. I had yous, I'm going to care. Rather than doing nothing but smoking, drinking coffee, sitting around with friends. Not productive, not even conducive to life, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't think it's going to help you in the long run, because with the drugs and smoking and alcohol, you become a prime risk for heart disease, lung disease, cancer. Your biggest three things, okay? So that's not something you want. And I've seen it young enough, and people die very young now from those type of things. Find something else you would like to pop in your mouth besides those things. Now, some people have used suckers. Okay, I don't like suckers, but okay. But I would use mints. But did I smoke? Oh, absolutely. Did I do drugs? Sorry, never. Did I drink? Somewhat, yeah. But it came to realization that I could not afford the cigarettes. I didn't like the cigarettes. And when you're a nurse working with people all the time out of the operating room, you begin to see what happens. And it's not a pretty picture. Not even for the family. So right there and then I decided that's it. I had to, can't believe it, but anyway, honestly, there was a group of 4 of us that went out for break, out in the storm of a snowstorm in minus 20, 32 was the weather that day. Minus 32 in our little uniforms and lab jackets and shoes through snowdrifts to have a cigarette. And at that point, I just went, I, for one, cannot do this shit. I can't do it. Like, this is killing me. It's going to kill me either way. So no, I can't keep doing this. So that was it. I went to the doctor the next day, got the patches, and because I decided that this is it. I don't want to smoke anymore. And I meant it. Like, I did not want the cancers. I did not want to have lungs out. No, I don't want the surgeries. So anyway, he gave me a continuance for the patch. I only used it 7 days. And after that, I forgot to put it on. And I kept busy at work. I would take more patients and stuff like that rather than going out for cigarettes with my buddies. Um, Everybody else was still going out, and I was like, go ahead, feel free. Like, I'll watch people for you. Like, you go ahead. Um, I began to change my dietary habit at the same time because it was always a bag of chips and a coffee at that point because that's about all the time you had. But eventually I moved on to just ditch the coffee and let's get ice water or a watery sugar drink. That alone um, helped me out. But the patch I didn't have to use more than 7 days, never looked back. Never looked back. And through that year, I don't think I caught much of a cold, hardly at all. Never got pneumonia. And I could breathe better. So I was like, perfect. So it was years after that um, that I began to drink. And of course, it's only wine. I don't drink hard stuff. And I drank a fair bit to the point where it's like, I don't even like this stuff. So again, I went out and said, that's it. And that was like a year ago. And I just said, I can't even drink, you know, a glass of it, or I would probably be sick because I didn't like the taste. And that is the truth. I did not like the taste of it. And it reminded me, like, just like the cigarette. I did not like the cigarettes. I just did it because I grew up in my household. Everybody smoked. So I decided, I think I'll do it too. So I began doing that. And then I decided it wasn't worth it. Having the problem with all these people carrying oxygen tanks at home and not being able to go anywhere and having lungs out and having lungs collapse and having to come back in. I mean, it's like a death torture. So before anything happened, I just said, that's it. So it became no to smoking. And I never looked back. Never. And I don't know, it's been like 50 years since I saw one. So I was young. And anyway, I'm really proud of myself that I didn't even bother because it was making me sick. Alcohol also making me sick. Um, I just never felt good, never felt like myself. And if anything, it made it so I couldn't um, connect with any spirits. I couldn't connect with anything at that point. And I just decided, look, this is crazy. I don't want any. I don't have to have any. And I know better. So, no, I'm not having any more alcohol either. So I did that. And as I said, I never did drugs. I tried them twice, the edibles, and they did not give me the peace and the sleep that I thought I could get. Being a shift worker, you kind of wanted these things. And I went to the doctor. He was like, have a couple of glasses of wine, you'll be fine at night. I was not. So I ended up going back to him and I said, look, I don't want anything. Just, can I have a sleep? Please, can I have a sleeping pill? And finally he said, oh, okay. He tried me on a sleeping pill and it was a little too strong because I'm very sensitive to meds. And I took half and it started to work. That I was actually getting some sleep. So I was happy with that. So I began to feel a whole lot better and I was doing better and exercising a lot more and things like that. And I actually was eating wonderfully. Mind you, I had probably overeating better foods than you'd even think of. So that being said, um, I let go of those things and I had so much more money than I ever did. So I'm just telling you this because if you want to save money and get out of the bucket of the bottom barrel, this is how you can do it. So, but you have to start. You have to want to start to have a better life and provide for your family and see what is available out there for you. What can you do? My biggest thing is to eliminate those three objects. Secondly, if you have, say you have a car and a motorbike and a few other toys for the men, um, something's got to give. Okay? Something has to give. So you decide, what do you want to get rid of? What do you want to stop payments on? What do you want to stop paying repairs on? Because that money's just blowing out the door. You might as well just burn it and trash it. You're not getting anything for it. So what I'm saying now is try to keep your costs minimum. And that's really hard. Honest to God, that one is really hard because I had to look at my cell phone, the television, the heat and lights, and bring those all down. So when I actually did a budget on one side and then went to the budget on the other side, I was way out of my range, way out of my pay range. Like, little wonder I worked 3 jobs at one point because it was crazy. I had a lot of bills to pay. And my luck for me is knowing the difference that um, I had 2 children that I had to pay for because the ex would never pay for them. He already had 2 children, and I'm not paying for them. And he didn't. So I knew I needed extra money. And how I was going to get them, that was a whirlwind to figure that out. So I'm going to be saving you time to take a look at how we do this. So I was good right up until I had my 2 children and had to pay for their needs. And I had to decide what I needed and what I didn't need, what I could do without. So when I get rid of the 3 useless ones, the alcohol, the drugs, smoking, I then turn to what else do I not need? What can I minimize? So I looked at my cell phone and I thought, I don't need half that stuff that's on those cell phones. I mean, they'll just sell you anything they think you're going to buy because they want the prices up. So I looked at it and I thought, okay, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. Well, lo and behold, by the time I was done with the poor girl, I have decided that she got it as low as she could, and it was $45 for the month with minimal calls overseas. I don't do any. Minimal calls in the country. Yeah, once or twice, maybe 3 times. Minimal texts. Okay, yep, all free after 6. Um, Calling people outside your local is free after 6 until 6 in the morning. And I thought, okay, that looks better than the $92 I was paying before. That gives me extra cash. Perfect. When I looked at the heating and lights and stuff, I had to look at where all the money was going there. Come to find out, my son, as a teenager, was using so many hot baths, right? Every day. He was in the shower in the morning before school, and at nighttime he would run the big tank empty so nobody else had any hot water. That was his primary thing. So I had to explain to him what was happening, why it happened, and no more hot water. You can't go through a whole tank. So when he was in the shower upstairs, I would definitely go right up and wait for him and stuff and putter around, clean up the rooms. And I would say, okay, your 10 minutes is up. Get out or sit there, one or the other, but no more hot water. Your sister needs to go. So it took him a while to figure out, mom's not kidding, right? And I was not kidding. I mean, he could go through $300 a month on hot water. we had enough rooms that if they weren't in them, I would turn the heat down because keeping them warm in rooms that weren't even being used was useless. The same with the bedrooms. You got your window wide open and you pumped up the heat. Now I got to pay that bill. So it's like, you can crack your window, but when you do not turn up the heat. Add an extra blanket. So when we got to that part, it was like, okay, what am I saving? Well, I found out I ended up saving in the second month quite a bit because, you know, it meant a lot to be able to do that. Just cut back where you needed to. And TV, well, we cut some of the extra channels out too, and that saved a lot. So basic cable didn't come with anything extra. Um, that saved a lot. And just because everybody else has it didn't mean we were going to have it. Okay? You want to go watch that program or that movie with your friend? Go ahead. Go to his house or go to her house. But we don't have that channel. We don't have many channels that other people have because I need to save. And that's the way it went. As far as junk food, I never bought hardly any junk food. Um, if anything, there was tons of fruit and vegetables as I started. I was getting ready for, more meats, proteins, eggs, things like that I could do for the kids. As long as I had healthy food, I was happy with that. As far as buying junk in the groceries, like cookies, cakes, stuff like this, that every kid wants, no. If anything, I'm going to make the stuff myself, and um, you can take it to school, right, for your snacks if you want. But it was always like banana breads, stuff like that. And if they wanted chocolate chips in them or blueberries, I put them in. So the kids really preferred that type of thing. Actually, one of the elementary schools where my daughter was going, they said, like, maybe we could do something like this for lunches or snacks for the kids. And I said, absolutely. So I set up a program where the school, on whatever day, say Thursday, the moms would bring in homemade cooking of a healthy sort, and they were only cost a quarter for the kids to get them. And it was always something like a carrot cake or the banana muffins, apple strudel, something that was made from home. And the money went to the school that we provided them with, so that arts and the art entertainments or the classes had extra money to put into those. Books that were missing or didn't have enough for certain children for their needs, it paid for that. So we did kind of a 2-for-1 thing. We actually cooked for the school, sold it to the kids for a quarter. Mom didn't, dad didn't have to pack the lunch because we also had the milk program, and there was also some extra fruit there for children. So it wasn't a big lunch. It was a healthy lunch, but it wasn't a big lunch. They weren't there for supper, okay? They were there for lunch. And the moms pitched in. And sure enough, we kept that program going actually for the 6 years that my daughter was there and my son. And I was very elated to find out that we had helped get extracurricular books and things like this with that program. If and we didn't have any children at the time that needed extra food, but we did put some towards the winter with mitts, gloves, hats, things that were forgotten at home. And we would just bring them back, wash them, and put them back in the borrow basket if we needed them. So it was amazing that with little help and the kids watching what I was giving them, it turned out to be quite the thing. So when we're starting the process of building a commodity, one of the things you need is the book, so you can write down what you're going to, what looks like you need to pay, reassess and see what is it you actually need. If you're putting too much out for everything else, are you getting enough protein in the home? Are you having time out with your kids? Are you doing other things with your children? Like, are you making a family night for your children where you can maybe order in pizza or whatever? And if not, then that's why we're starting this. And if we need a larger supply of food to continue to build your money, okay? Food is a big essential, and I'm sorry, I'm a bad one because the prices are so bad now. I mean, they're up over half of what they used to be. So, having said that, I understand. Trust me. And I'm still today buying 3 or 4 things that have gone under the half price mark. Like 2 weeks ago, they had tuna on sale and it was under the half price sale. And I bought extra cans because I go through tuna, which is a really good protein for you, by the way. And I bought those just in case. But I'm at the point where if somebody is low or the food banks are low, I can help supply them with something, which if they're really low, I will pick up and help. I do all the time. And people go, "You're rich, you can do that." No, I'm not. I'm not rich. I've worked 3 jobs to get where I am today. I have saved and not spent and wasted money. That's not what I'm here for. It's one of those things where it's better to give than to receive sometimes, and I'm truly there. So when they're short their food, I usually can supply things. And if they have a freezer at the facility, I also have an extra freezer that goes with things that I buy from certain places. And they may be bags of fries, they may be chicken tenders, maybe fish. It just sort of depends. Whatever's frozen that went on sale that I can buy and put in my freezer is what is going to the food bank. Okay? So it's not like it's just for me, but I'm in a place now where I can actually help support other people. I have never gone to a food bank in my life. Don't know anything about it. I just know people need it. I did pass out like Tim Hortons cards years ago, $10 each, so that whenever I saw a homeless person with their tents uptown, I'd be able to pass on a $10 gift certificate. And people were more than appreciative, more than appreciative. And they could go and get a sandwich and coffee. But they finally had cash on this card. So, when you buy 20 or 30 of those and you walk uptown and these people are starving, then they got it. I also had a private call-in center when I was head of a program. And this was on my spare time. And I would have messages left by parents that says, I can't afford any more food than I have. I have 3 children, no extra money coming in, and she didn't work, by the way. She chose not to, but at that point it was like, okay, well, whatever. I mean, you're in destitution. And I went and bought $300 worth of groceries, and I said, I will bring them to you. I took them over to her, and her kids were hugging the death out of me, and it was so sweet. It really was heartbreaking because the little boy, he was about 10, and he was elated to see all the groceries. And milk, oh my gosh, you couldn't give this kid enough milk. He was like, he had cereal, he had milk, he had bread, he had butter, I mean, all these things, your basics. and, plus something for every meal, plus fresh fruits and vegetables. And I will never forget him and his family as long as I live, because they just made my day. And I think they were the most wonderful people, because they did reach out to me and ask me, because they said they've overused other places. And I said, okay, that's not a problem. I will try to get what I can. So since that day, there's been general requests coming out on my newsfeed, and can you help with this, or this? And it's usually either the warming clothes, personal effects, or quick food for um, the street people. And most times I will say, yes, give me 2 days to get there first. And somebody can come pick it up, and I will load up your trunk. That's happened yearly now for years. And I really don't hear much from other people that are single, like the single users that let me know. Since then, I think they're doing a little bit better with trying to make the dollar work. So I'm pretty proud of them as well. But the kids, for me, was the telltale, I can honestly say. So at this point, I'm going to tell you a few things that you need to do. Once you break away from the things that you don't need and get them taken away, so that we can lower your cost all the way down to where it needs to be, you're going to save. And it would be nice if you could save. If you lower your cost, you're going to be able to save $5 or $10 a month. No problem. If you don't want to, then you're still stuck in the same bucket. Okay. You want to succeed in this world, get somewhere, then you're going to have to do it. Start with $5 or $10. Put it in a jar. Put it in a box. Put it in the bank is my big thing. Put it in the bank, because there's more effort to go to the bank. Put it in, and you have to roll coins. Roll coins. Whatever it's going to take. After we begin that process, whether you're getting paid weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, depends on what you have. But for every week that goes by, you need to save $5. $5. Doesn't matter if it's in pennies, nickels, quarters, what have you. If you think you're going to be short, try to figure out why you're short, and where you're going to get it from. Oh, you have to take bottles back. Perfect. That usually makes up $3 or $4. Or if you have extra bottles, perfect. You're going to add that to that account. So the biggest thing, you're going to start growing. So you may start with $5, $10. And as you go by the weeks, you'll notice, and monthly, it starts to climb, and it climbs and it climbs. And before you know it, you have saved $300 or $400 or $500 in no time. Because once you see those numbers climb, you're going to want to see more numbers climb. So everybody's got their food. They've got nutritious food. You need to save for a smaller deep freeze, not big ones. Just start with the smaller one where you can store freezing food. Freeze things that were on sale, for example. So if you got one hot package of hot dogs and they went on sale today, and you thought before you could only afford one, right now, then at that point, you can actually take $15, $20 and you get 4 packs and put them in your freezer. Chicken wings, chicken whatever. It goes on sale quite often, usually once a month. And with that kind of money, you can load up and pick up 2 or 3 packs. Okay, you're going to put them in your freezer. So the freezer becomes quite necessary when you start picking up frozen things. When you find out that your fruits and your vegetables are frozen and they're on sale, you pick them up. You put them in your freezer. So now we've saved you money on the more expensive things that you're able to use monthly. So it'll be a while. When you notice you're getting down to your last bag of anything, whether it be protein, vegetables, fruits, canned milk, you're going to have to watch for the next sale. And I personally do the flyers. Flyers are wonderful. You can actually figure out what you're going to have. If you have to take a bus, by the way, to go get that, or get a friend to drive you, account for the gas that they took you to, it's still okay, because you should have enough money to say, look, I'll give you $10 for me to load up $80 on food for the next month, type of thing. And they probably could take you to an outing for, the hour or two until you get the things that you need. After that, you're going to stop filling up your supplies because you've got a lot of supplies to go through. But at that point, you're still going to build more money, because that's how you build. You're not going to use all your money. You're just going to build it. So as you save every month, you must save something, and save it every month. And eventually you will find that you may have enough money to take a night away with your kids. Take them to a place that you can borrow somebody's tent and go tenting for a night. And it's all coming back to the family. I mean, if you can remember your great aunt or uncle, if you can remember that far back, you'll remember that when you went to visit them years ago. I don't know about you, but my aunt could whip up anything with nothing. She did work in the army as a chef, and she knew how to cook whatever she wanted with what little she had, and that was the army days. So going to her house, it was like a bloody feast. She didn't have to know you were coming ahead of time. She didn't go buy anything. She used what she had already bought and saved on. So, like her, there is no reason why you can't pack enough into your supplies to actually have that, so that if your son or daughter says, can so-and-so stay for supper? Your answer is, oh, sure, like I'll just put some more on. And having done that, that's a real amazement, actually, for the kids to be able to say, yeah, mom said you could stay, or dad said you could stay. We have enough. That's a big deal, rather than saying, well, if I give you $5, can you go get some fries between you? No, no. So that's how you're going to begin to save. And from here, I think I'm going to say so much for that. We are going to carry on later with a little bit more expertise and see how you do. I mean, so far people have done a lot that I helped them with. So I'm going to help that you do the same and start very slowly and take pride in yourself that you're actually building something. Okay? If you have any questions, if you want me to know something and help you with it, just type me out a note, that's all, and send it to me, and and let me know what's happening. And I'm sure we can come up with something. And if you could you please hit the like button and subscribe so that other people can see the same information? I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that really need to hear this. Okay, so thank you for taking time to watch my video, and I'll be back. Thank you.